Okay, good morning. This is Dr. Rajendra Maurya, and this morning I am here to discuss the structure and function of flower pots. So, you are well aware about the flowers. Flowers are the reproductive part of a plant, and that is very important in case of the floriculture crops. That is the main attraction point in landscape, or in case of the cut flower production, flowers plays very important role. Or if we will talk about the fruit plants, yeah, fruit vegetables, etc., then this reproductive structure is plays very important role because yield is totally dependent on the flower and fruit set. So for that, we must understand the structure and functions of flower pots. So here on this slide, you are looking the flower structure. So in this one, we can say in the flower is two parts. We can say the accessory organs and the reproductive structures. So in accessory organs like the receptacle, or we can see the sepals and petals. These are the accessory organs. Okay. And we can see the for reproductive part is very important part, particularly fruit plants and fruit vegetables. You have to see in the center, this one. This one is the stigma. And from here to here, this is the style. And in the center, this is the shown part, that is the ovary. So these three parts, stigma, style, and ovary. Okay. So these are the, we can say the female part, or we can say the carp, and also we can say petulate flowers. So we can say this one is the parts of a female flowers. So in this, okay, other thing in left hand side, you can see this long structure. This one is the filament, and this yellow color structure, that is the anther, and this anther contains the pollen grains. So filament and anther, this is a part of male flowers. Male flowers are staminate flowers. Okay. Or the androecium, and female flowers also the gynoecium. So now here you have to understand, after maturity this anther is dissect and pollen grains release, or these pollen grains is automatically transfer on the stigma, that is known as self pollination. Or if these pollen grains by means of insects, or we can say if we are doing the manually or by other animals, that is known as cross pollination. So what happens in this anther is burst or disseminate. So pollen grains release from here, and that reach on the stigma. So what is important for stigma? Stigma must be receptive. Stigma must be receptive. It means that should contain the stigmatic fluid. So when pollen grains reach on the stigma and the stigma is receptive that contains the stigmatic fluid, so those pollen grains germinate, and after germination they will grow downwards towards the ovary. So this makes the long tube-like structure. So that's why it is known as pollen tube. So when this pollen tube reaches in the ovary, that will come in contact with the ovules. Okay. So we can say pollen grains are the male gametes and ovules are female gametes. So when they will come in contact, fertilization occurs, and after fertilization it will make zygote, and after zygote embryo development. So after that this structure is mature, then ovary is converted in fruit and ovules convert in seeds. So we can say what are the seeds? Seeds are mature ovules. What are the fruits? Fruits are mature ovary or ripened ovary. So this is the basic structure of a flower. Now in case of the pollen grains, you are looking on this colorful slide. It looks very attractive and you can see the structure of pollen grains. So each plant species has unique pollens. So if you will talk for the, we can say the tomato is different. If you will talk for the rose flowers is different, or if you will talk for the hibiscus is different. So we can say each plant species has unique pollens, and pollens are, we can say, male gametes. So again we are repeating the same flowers. So in this one you can see male part, that is the staminate or androecium, filament and anthers. So in anthers contains the large number of pollen grains. So for structure of the pollen grains already you have seen on the last slide. And on the right side you are looking the pistillate, or we can see the gynoecium, or we can see the female flowers. So in this is stigma, style and ovary. So in the last slide, I told you that pollen grains reach on the receptive stigma, then pollen grains germinates on the receptive stigma of the flower and grows down into the ovary, that is the pollen tube, and into one of the ovules. So we can say pollen grains are the male gametes and ovules are the female gametes. Okay. So you can see in these pollen tubes, sperms and tube nucleus. These also plays important role in the fertilization. Here you can say funiculus attaches all to placenta, micropyle opening in ovule where pollen tubes enter. So you can see on the left side above diagram. So in this one is the pollen tubes enters in, and here is the female gametes. We can see the ovules, eggs. So here two pollen nuclei, n plus n. So we can say the 1n male gametes other end female gametes. So this one is the. So in 7-celled, 8-nucleate embryo sac mature mega gametophyte. So after that, what happens here? Fertilization, pollen tubes. So primary endosperm nucleus 3 and zygote. Then embryo or endosperm. So we can say that is the part of the seed, embryo, seed coat, and endosperm. So embryo halt stage, and that is important because no embryo, then what will germinate? So embryo plays very important role. Or in case of germination, the hypocotyl, then root axis, embryo, cotyledon, seed coat, seed, etc. Fruits, that is the pod, and in the fruit contains the multiple seeds. Same pods also contains the many seeds. So formation of the fruit, seed and embryo review, double fertilization. Typical of angiosperms, seed plants. In angio, yes, plants are two types, angiosperms and gymnosperms. So angiosperms are flowering plants, seed-bearing plants. And gymnosperms, no seeds. What we can see, the seeds are naked. So two sperm in the pollen tube are discharged into the embryo sac. One unites with the egg producing a zygote. The zygote divides into the embryo. Endosperm, liquid stage precedes the solid stage. So endosperm that is utilized as a initial nourishment when we will do the seed sowing for raising the seedlings or in the field. So initial nourishment occurs through endosperm. To visualize this, think of a green coconut. In green coconut is big seed. When immature, it is full of the coconut water. So we can say immature coconut is full of coconut water, that is liquid endosperm. So sometimes doctors prescribe that to drink coconut water for patients. So you know very well. Mature coconut that we eat is mostly the solid endosperm that would feed the developing embryo. So formation of the fruit, seed and embryo. A fruit may contain more. A fruit may contain one or more ovaries. So each containing one or more ovules. So here good example for multiple ovaries. You know the pineapple. Also you know the mulberry. You also you know the strawberry. So these are the multiple ovaries example. Or in case of the one single ovary, that is mango, guava, lime, lemon, orange, apple, pear, peach, etc. These are the examples. So we can say in each containing one or more ovules. So here I would try to make simple. Ovules, ovules convert in these seeds. So we can say, for example, guava contains the lot of seeds. In case of mango, is single seed. Lime lemon contains multiple seeds. These are the examples. So this one is depending on the plant species plus additional tissues. See, the ovule develops into the seeds. So the ovule wall integuments become the seed coat. Ovule wall that becomes the seed coat testa. And what is the function of seed coat? Seed coat is important for work as a protecting. So that protect the embryo from external damage. So here two-celled, so embryo sac and the endosperms. So you can see the anatomy of embryo sac and endosperms in this slides. Then also we can see the protoderm, endosperm, new cellular tissues, root tip, emerging cotyledons, endosperms. So the relationship between flower tissues and subsequent parts. So ovary grows into the fruit tissues. Ovary grows into fruit tissues. And ovule grows into a seed. So many times I mentioned this mature ovary or ripened ovary is a fruit. And mature ovules or ripened ovules are the seeds. So we can say ovules convert in seed and ovary convert in the fruits. Seeds. So every seed consists of three parts, that is embryo, storage tissue, that is the endosperm, or protective outer covering, that is seed coat. Embryo, that is very, very important for seeds. If no embryo, or we can see the if immature embryo, then what will germinate? So we can say if no embryo, then we can consider this is seed. If no embryo, that is only grain. Embryo tissue, that is the endosperm. So in many seeds, endosperm is all used by embryo by the time of seed germinates and stored in fleshy cotyledons, that is the seed leaves. So endosperm plays very important role for the initial nourishment of seedlings. So it plays very important role at the time of seed germination. And seed coat is that is protective outer covering. So this is also very important that protect the embryos from the external damage. So that's it. Thanks. So however in this, also in this is a very important thing, that is I explained it's two type flowers, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium is male part of a flower. Gynoecium, that is the female part of the flower. So maybe you hear the terms unisexual and bisexual. So I mean the if in any flower, male and female both parts are available on the same flower, that is bisexual flower. Or in some plant species, if any part is missing, so we can say either that is the androecium or gynoecium. Then we will say this is the unisexual flowers. So this one is the very basic thing. If male and female both parts of a flower is present on the same flower, that is bisexual flower. Or if single either male flowers or female parts, female flowers. So we can see the either staminate or pistillate, androecium or gynoecium. Only single part is present in the flower. So for example, if both male flowers and female flowers both are present on the same plant, but both are at two different locations, then also known as the unisexual flowers. Or male flowers and female flowers are present on the two separate individuals, then also known as the unisexual flowers. So now you can ask me what is the basic difference then? So I mean the if male and female flowers are present on the same plant but at two different locations, that is known as monoecious. Monoecious. Or if male and female flowers are present on the two different individuals of same species, then is known as dioecious. So good examples of dioecious is papaya, date palm. Or for monoecious is good examples are gourds. We can see the vegetables that belongs to family Cucurbitaceae are good examples of monoecious. And you are looking this purplish color, that is the petal. So this is very attractive petals, and also we can say corolla. And this green structure, that is the sepal or calyx. So petals also plays very important role because these are the attractive, colorful. So that attract the butterflies, honeybees, and various types of other beneficial insects. So they collect the nectar from the flowers. So during the nectar collecting process, some pollen grains stick on honeybees, butterflies, etc. So when these honeybees and butterflies reach on the other flower, so pollen grains from one plant to other plant will reach. So that is the cross pollination, and that happens due to insects. So we can say this is the entomophilic pollination. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Moria, and today we are discussing about the introduction to seed. So what is seed? So actually seed is a mature ovule. So basically we can say after fertilization, or we can say the when pollen grains disseminate on the receptive stigma. Then stigma contains the stigmatic fluid. So due to that fluid, that pollen grain germinate and make the pollen tubes. And that pollen tube grows downwards through the style and that reach in the ovary. Or in ovary contains the several ovules. So when that pollen tube reach in the ovary and contact with the ovules, then fertilization occurs. After fertilization, it will develop in the zygote and at later stage, it will make the embryo. So after maturity, the ovary converts in the fruit and after maturation of the ovules convert in the seeds. So we can say seeds are mature ovules. So all the flowers of all the tomorrow are in the seeds of today. So this is the Swedish proverb. And also we can see the for seed is a basic unit of crop production. So seed is basic unit of crop production. And also we can say seed is critical input in crop husbandry. So if seed is not quality, then your crop can fail. So quality seed is prime requirement. So which determines the expected dividends from all other inputs. Agriculturally, seed is the unit of propagation and can be any part of the plant, zygotic seed or vegetative propagules, which has the capability to regenerate into a new plant. But botanically, it is defined as matured, ripened ovules, comprising living embryo embedded in the supporting food storage tissues with a protective coat. So, okay, I am explaining now this. In the previous lectures, we discussed about the plant propagation. So we can see the propagation means the perpetuation or multiplication of a plant. Or we can say in simple words, we can say propagation is a multiplication, increasing in numbers. So that broadly categorized into categories. First, sexual propagation, that was the seed propagation. And second one is the asexual or vegetative propagation, that is colonal propagation. So what is in that? In sexual propagation, seed is involved for multiplication. So that is known as zygotic seed. And other one is the asexually or vegetative propagation, that is the vegetative propagules. So we can say either you are using the seed or you are using the any vegetative part of a plant. So from that you can multiply, you can increase the numbers of the plant. So which has the capability to generate into a new plant. For example, just you are taking the piece of a stem and from piece of stem you can generating the new plant. Or you are taking the leaf or leaf segments and you are developing the new plant. So these are the vegetative propagules. And also most common, you know, the for potato is tubers. So that tuber, potato tuber, also we can cutting down in the different segments. So all pieces, all segments should contain the bud, healthy bud. And that each segment we can use as a seed material, that is vegetative propagules. Okay. Or in terms of the botanically, it is defined as a matured or ripened ovules. So what is the important thing in that? In seed contains, or we can say the parts of a seed is three important parts. One is the embryo, then endosperm, and seed coat. So we can say the ripened ovule comprising the living embryo and also the supporting food storage tissues, that is the endosperm. So that is used when embryo germinate. So endosperm is helpful for initial nourishment of the seedlings. And third important is the protective seed coat. So seed coat is protecting the embryos from external damage. So botanically in seed, three important parts that already I mentioned: embryo, endosperm, and seed coat. Then it is primarily responsible for maintaining the physical, physiological, and genetic characteristics of any variety or hybrid of any crop. So we can say the seeds must be primarily responsible for maintaining the physical purity, physiological, and also the genetic characteristics. Then the differences between seed and commercial grain are as follows. So differences between seed and commercial grain: seed should be germinate and vigorous, but in terms of the grain, need not be. So I mean the in case of the grain, not necessary that should be germinate or that should be vigorous, but seed must be germinable as well as the vigorous. Then second one is the seed should be physically and genetically pure. Physically pure. Physical purity means no sand particles, no dirt, no broken seeds, no weed seeds, etc. No gravels. Or in terms of the genetically pure. So I mean the no mixture of other varieties seed in that. But in case of the grain, not necessary. And seed should be free from pest and diseases. In case of the grain, not necessary. And in case of the seed, seed is the outcome of plant and specific program. Or in case of the grain, is not necessary. So we can say the seed, all parameters are very, very important and they must contain. Role of seed. So based on the Fish Treasure in 1975 described the role of seed as follows: a carrier of new technologies. So introduction by technology to enhance the crop productivity solely depend on seed. So we can see the crop production and crop productivity solely dependent on the seeds. So if seed is not qualitative, if seed is not high yielder, then it's very difficult to enhance the crop productivity. So it may be the development of new varieties, evaluation of seed treating chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, including the biotechnological developments. So all these are very important. So development of new varieties or evolution of the seed treatment chemicals, also as per the that particular variety what is the fertilizer requirement, and also the for pesticides. So right now the many biotechnological companies, they also developing the new varieties. Most common example is BT cotton, BT brinjal, and so on. Also the golden rice too. So a basic tool for secured food supply in India, for instance, the cultivation of high-yielding varieties have helped to increase food production from 52 million tons to more than 200 million tons over a period of 50 years. So we can say the in last 50 years period, we have increased the 4 times from 52 million tons to more than 200 million tons. So this one is the great achievement, and the successful implementation of the high yielding varieties program in India has led to a remarkable increase in production and to a new assessment of future development potential. So as a result, food imports from other countries have been substantially brought down in spite of the rapid population increase. So here is good example. At the time of independence, India has low population, but we were dependent on the import of food grains. But now population increasing in India, but we are self-sufficient in food production. So this one is the great achievement, and this was possible due to high yielding varieties program. So the principal means to secure crop yields in less favorable production areas, in areas inherent with biotic and abiotic stresses. So in terms of the biotic stresses, like pathogens, insect pests, and also the weeds, all these are the biotic stresses. Or in terms of the abiotic, like drought, salt tolerant, etc. So the supply of good quality seeds of improved varieties contribute to secure higher crop yields. A medium for rapid rehabilitation of agriculture in cases of natural disaster. At times, floods and droughts focused on threats of famine and starvation. So we can say the sometimes what happens due to the floods or droughts, threats of famine and starvation occurs, because in floods the complete crop damaged and no production. So that can cause the famine and starvation. Or in terms of the famine also we can say the sometimes disease. So most common example is Irish famine that occurred in the potatoes. So in such situations, seed reserve stocks contribute a lot to reclaim the ill effects of natural calamities. Then characteristics of quality seed. So genetic purity. Genetic purity of seeds refers to the trueness to type. So seed should be true to type, true to the specific variety. If the seeds possesses all the genetic qualities that breeders has placed in the variety, it is said to be genetically pure. So in genetic pure variety, for example, if we are taking the, we are purchasing the seed of tomatoes, for example, Punjab Chwara, then the all seeds should be Punjab Chwara variety. Not we can say the mixing of the Marglo variety of tomatoes. It has direct effect on ultimate yields. If there is any deterioration in the genetic makeup of the variety during seed multiplication and distribution cycle. So for example, for seed production farmers, if we provide the any particular variety for seed multiplication, so no admixture of other variety seeds in that. So that is not only a seed multiplication unit, but also for distribution cycles too. So there would definitely be proportionate decrease in its performance, and it is therefore necessary to ensure genetic purity during production cycles. And then physical purity. So in physical purity of a seed load refers to the physical composition of seed load. So in physical purity, I told you mixture of the weed seeds, other inert materials. So we can say a seed lot is composed of pure seeds or inert matters, weed seeds and other crop seeds. So in terms of the physical purity, we should focus on the pure seeds. Pure seed means the that particular variety seeds only. No other crop seeds, no other variety seeds, no weed seeds, no stones, no gravel, no sand particles, no crop residues, etc. So higher the content of pure seed, the better would be the seed quality. Pure seed considered together with seed germination determine the planting value of the seed. Then significance of seed. So in terms of the significance of seed, ensure genetic purity of specific crop. So already we discussed ensure genetic purity of specific crop. So you can take any example for vegetable crops, chili, tomato, brinjal, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, or you can take example for wheat, rice, etc. So I mean that particular crop or particular variety that should contain the specific variety seeds in that. Quality seeds alone ensures high yield. So we can say the seeds are the basic unit of crop production. So if seeds are quality, then we can ensure the higher yield. If seeds are low quality, then our crop can fail. Higher income to farmers. If we have quality seeds, then farmers can get good income. Otherwise, farmers will be in loss instead of the profit. Produce vigorous seedlings in nursery. So if we have the quality seeds, then when we will raise the seedlings in nursery, then we can get vigorous seedlings. Otherwise, we will see the heterogeneity in seedlings. Tolerant to pests and diseases to certain extent. This is also very important. Otherwise, our crop can fail. Maintains desired plant population. So I mean, if we have good quality seeds, right variety, then during the sowing, we will get the good germination percentage. Otherwise, for example, in particular variety, if we are getting the germination percentage 90%, then we can get the good plant population. Or in some varieties, if seed quality is not good, or if we are getting the germination percentage 50% or 60%, then we can say we will get only 50% plant population. Then we can say we will get 50% yield. So definitely we will get loss in that. So respond to added inputs like fertilizers, pesticides, irrigation, and other crop management techniques. So in quality seeds, if you are adding the inputs, pesticides, and also the water management, so for irrigations, and also the other crop management techniques, then we can get very good yield and quality produce. And last one, the ensures uniform growth and maturity. So I mean the when crop will grow, then we will see the uniformity, not small and tall. All plants looks uniform in growth, and all plants can mature at same time. So now is quiz of this topic. So question number one, the process of elimination of moisture from the seed is called. So in this question we have four options. Option A, seed grading. Option B, seed drying. Option C, seed harvesting. And option D, none of these. So in this one, the correct answer is option B, seed drying. Then next question, seed drying should reduce the seed moisture content to save moisture limits to maintain its during storage. So in this one also we have four options. Option A, physical purity. Option B, genetic purity. And option C, viability. And option D, none of these. So in this question, correct answer is option C, viability. The next question, seed drying should reduce the seed moisture which may otherwise. So in this also we have four options. Option A, mold growth, and option B, enhanced microbial activity, and option C, both of these, and option D, none of these. So in this one is the correct answer is option C, both of these. So we can say seed moisture can cause mold growth as well as enhance the microbial activity. The next question is seed drying also permits. So in this question we have four options. Option A, early harvesting. Option B, long-term storage of seeds. And option C, more efficient use of land. And option D, all of these. So in this question, correct answer is option B, long-term storage of seeds. Because if seed is dried, then we can store for long time. If that seed contains the moisture, then it can cause the spoilage or decaying of seeds that will reduce the viability of seeds. Thank you.